Alright, so let's take a look at this polynomial. We have x squared plus 10x plus 25. If we're going to try and factor this, you guys might go right into thinking, okay, let me set up my x, and I know that I want to find two terms that will multiply to be 25 and add to be 10. So we could go ahead and start listing out ways to multiply to be 25 that add to be 10. But there's actually another way we can do this, and that's actually factoring using perfect square method. So for the perfect square method, we say that if we have a polynomial in the form of a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, that we can factor that as a plus b squared. So here, we're going to be following this format and comparing this to what we have here. So really what we're doing, the first step is going to be to look at our a. In this case, our a is our a squared is x squared. So we're saying, okay, well our a squared is equal to x squared. And that means that our b squared, in this case, is 25. Okay? And now, if I want to solve for a and for b, I'm just going to take the square root of both sides. Square root of a squared is a, square root of x squared is x. So we have that our a is equal to x. Over here, same thing, square root of both sides. We have b is equal to 5. So in this case, notice we have two integer solutions. So now, I have my a, I have my b. The last thing I need to do to see if I can use this method is to see if my middle term, in this case 10x, is equal to 2 times a times b. Well, 2 times a is x, so 2 times x is equal to 2x, times b, well our b is 5. Okay, and let me do this down here. 2x times 5 is equal to 10x, which is this. So we've shown that our middle term is in the form of 2ab. Well, we already said a is x, b is 5, so we have x plus 5 squared. Now, you might say to yourself, why would I put myself through all of that trouble, right? I could have just set up my x, and I could have just found my two terms and I would have been done. And you're right, you could have done that. But really where the perfect square method really comes into handy is when you have polynomials that have leading terms other than 1. So when you have something like this, you have 49x squared plus 70x plus 25. This means that you'd have to multiply 49 times 25. You'd have to find two terms that multiply to be that product and add it to be 70, which you could do, but that's a whole lot of trial and error, and that's probably going to be a lot of work. Okay, so my first term, my x squared, in this case is 49x squared. Well, if I take the square root of 49x squared, that's 7x. 25, we already showed the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, and then just to double check, is my middle term in the form of 2ab? Well, 2 times a is 7x, that's 14x, times b, well now we have 14x times our b, which we said is 5, and that's 70x. So that checks out, which means that our final factored form using the perfect square method is going to be a, which in this case is 7x, plus b, which in this case is 5, squared. And I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot easier than doing the guess and check method.